Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a look at Transformers Cyberverse Deluxe Class Shockwave. This is an all-new mold, meant to be kind of the quintessential Cyberverse Shockwave toy. It's got increased parts count, increased articulation compared to a regular Cyberverse toy. They're meant to mimic the more collector-oriented toys from like Studio Series and Generations. And just like his Wave mates, he comes with a Build-A-Figure piece of the character McAdam. This is specifically his left leg, so you can see it's quite big. And then he's got his little fire blast effects here that you can attach them in different ways. So if you see my channel, you know how the reviews go. We're going to take a look at Shockwave's packaging, we'll see his instructions, and then we're going to see Shockwave himself in both his vehicle and robot modes. I'll be doing some comparisons with him, and then at the end giving my final thoughts. So the packaging, it's kind of a mix between the Cyberverse, very bright color, very kitty-oriented design, but also having this nice windowed box design reminiscent of the more collector-oriented lines. Shockwave himself, you can see, stands about the same size as his Warrior class version, but you can see he's much more posable. Got a lot more going on there. And you can't see it from here, but his little blaster arm thing is actually detachable, so you can just give him two hands. So that's pretty cool. I already showed the fire blast effects, the Build-A-Figure piece. Down here, you got a little gun weapon for him. Right there, you got a render of McAdam. And then on the back, you have Shockwave's renders. Got his spider tank. Robot mode takes 20 steps to transform, so not bad. His special attack is called Shock Blast, which I really wonder if that's a reference to his Energon alter ego, from the Unicron trilogy. I like to think so. His function is listed as Twisted Scientist, which fits him very well. And here you got the diagram for McAdam. You got your other figures in the assortment there. And then on the side, just your generic picture of the bad guys. Right here, Shockwave's instruction booklet. Go ahead and unfold it. You can see the transformation to a spider tank. Starts on this side, goes over on this side. Shows you, how to attach his weapons and everything. You can actually, oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that his eyeball is a hard point for his blast effect. That's cool. We can shoot an eye laser. Didn't realize that. And yeah, and like I said, he does have two full hands this time around. I think the little Spark Armor figure had that too, so they're probably taking some cues from that. And overall, he's not very different in design than the other Shockwave toys from Cyberverse. He's just a bit more complex, more articulated. And then right here, you can see he comes with the left leg for McAdam, which I have right here, so we can take a look at it. Got a big molded wheel on his calf there, or the side of his calf. So he's got a lot of wheels on him. I don't know what he's supposed to turn into. It's kind of 18 wheel or something. Nice little kneecap detail, little stripe here. His thigh is on a ball joint. It's a tight one though, so it really only moves up and down, and you can rotate it if you want to. Unfortunately, his foot is just molded in place. It doesn't have any kind of ankle tilt or pivot or anything like that. So kind of cheap looking. Definitely doesn't stack up to the Marvel Build-A-Figures. All right, here's Shockwave in his spider tank mode. And if you've seen one Shockwave toy from Cyberverse, this is nothing new. The transformations, they all follow the same basic beats. So, these are his arms, these are his legs, they're just kind of turned around, more spider-esque configuration. He opts to use his hand cannon as the back-mounted cannon, which most of the other toys do. He's got his little handheld blaster attached also for some added firepower. And, that's really all there's to say about this mode. You can pose it, maybe rear it up a little bit if you want to. A few things you can do with it, but not a whole lot. Though I have to say, it looks really nice, and I like the way they managed to get his little cable thing that runs to his cannon to be kind of tucked away and not just sticking straight up like the Spark Armor toy does. And then let's talk about his Fire Blast effect. His is pretty nice. Fairly reminiscent of Megatron's in that it's kind of like a little starburst effect at the base. And then you got this long like laser column coming out of it. The big difference is the fact that this is just kind of a hole in the middle, whereas Megatron's actually had like a little 5mm post there. So go ahead and just kind of slide it on here like a sleeve. Put it on there. You can put it on his blaster, you know, whatever you want to do. You can do a little both. Yeah, you had a few options here. So it does add some play value to a pretty not really exciting alt mode. And here we have Shockwave with the other size class versions of him. Over here you got your Ultra class. This is your Spark Armor toy. And then your Warrior class. And now Shockwave is interesting because he is probably the most consistently high quality figure throughout the whole Cyberverse toy line. I mean, it doesn't help that he has kind of a cheater alt mode where he just kind of pops down on all fours and hides his head, but it's a simple formula that's kind of hard to mess up. And if you look, these are all very, very similar looking toys. You know, the specifics change a little bit, but the general idea is spin his arms around, spin his legs around, you know, flip a cannon onto his back in some way and hide his head behind this little panel thing. That's about it. The one that has the largest departure from this is probably the Ultra class because he has a whole extra arm or leg, which is this one, that just completely tucks away when he goes to robot mode and gets replaced by that. But overall, you can see these are kind of samey, which isn't bad necessarily. It means that no matter which toy you're getting a pretty good toy. But it also prevents the new Deluxe Soundwave from really standing out amongst his peers. That's not saying he's not better. He is the best version. But really, if you have any of these versions, you have a pretty good Shockwave toy. All right, now let's do the transformation. So the first thing I'm going to do, remove his blaster here. Take the Fire Blast effect off. And take this off. Now, we're going to remove it all the way as per the instructions. You don't actually have to, but it just kind of helps keep it out of the way while you transform him. So let's go ahead. We're going to stand Shockwave up a bit. We're going to rotate him at the knees to get his feet facing the right way. Let's bring his arms down, like so. Turn him around. You're going to bend these feet back, flip this panel open, flip the fist out, fold that foot in, and complete the arm. The same thing here. Like so. Now over here, take these mandible-like pieces or spikes, fold them all the way down. Bring his chest down until it snaps into place. Flip his antennae up. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this for a moment. Transformation is not totally done yet, but I want to show you something. This is Shockwave's like base robot mode without any kind of attachments or weapons. And you can see it hits all the classic cues, but it also affords him a second hand before you attach the hand cannon. So he's one of only 2 Shockwaves in this line that can do this, the other one being the Spark Armor figure. So that is pretty neat. He's got really nice paint apps. He's got all like the pink energy lines going through him. He's got the silver kind of honeycombing effect on his chest. He's got his secondary eye painted on there. And his head, let's see, it is on a swivel, so it can look all around. He's got full waist swivel. Shoulders are ball joints, unfortunately. He's got a bicep swivel, elbow bends. He does have wrist swivel, though it's greatly hindered by these little foot pieces under his fists. The hips are actually a hinge and swivel combo, so that's nice. It gives him nice stability. He's got a single bend at the knee. He's got, I can't really call it a thigh swivel, but knee swivel, I guess, turns there. And then his feet can rock and ankles can tilt there. So he is very, very posable, and he's very solid. Unlike, say, the Megatron figure that I reviewed before him. It was a floppy mess. If you like my positive reviews, you probably won't like that one, because I wasn't impressed with old Megatron. But anyway, yeah, this is Shockwave before we add anything to him. Oh yeah, he's got these little hip skirts that raise up too for added, flexibility, mobility. All right, let's go ahead and add his goodies now. I'll flip this back down. You're going to reattach his energy cable. Slide it in there just like that. Close this back up. And then bring his cannon around and let it plug onto his fist like so. Giving him his classic arm cannon. Over here, he gets this nice little handheld blaster as a secondary weapon. So now he is fully armed, ready for combat. And this is also where his fire blast effects come into play. So, you can attach him here on the arm cannon, which looks really cool. You can attach it here on his blaster if you want him firing that thing off. And the other cool thing is that you can plug his fire blast effect, sans the little base part, onto his eyeball and let him do an eye laser. Now how cool is that? The eye laser thing for Shockwave, it's not utilized very much in fiction, but it is something he can do. He can shoot lasers from his eyes. Or eye, I guess. So that's really neat. You get a lot of options with how you want to play with your guy here. And I love that they turn his eye into like a little 3mm post like that. And this part again can be used for like battle damage. Plug it onto any 5mm post, and yeah, his gun's been shot. All right, here's the full lineup with the other Shockwaves again. So Ultra Class, Spark Armor Class, and specifically this is the one from the Quintesson Invasion set, though there's no difference in the actual base figure. And then your Warrior Class toy. And again, they're all really close when it comes to the overall design. Proportions are a bit different here and there, but they're all good looking toys. But I will say that the Deluxe toy kind of combines all the best parts of all these different versions. So, when it comes to paint applications, your Deluxe and your Ultra Class take the cake. You get all the little energy lines, they get the second eye painted in, you get the silver, filigree on the chest. When it comes to the removable hand cannon and having the big old power cable, you got your Deluxe and your little Spark Armor guy. So while these are all good toys, the older three each kind of have their flaws, right? There's something about them, whether it's lack of paint, lack of articulation, missing accessories like the cable. So they're imperfect. This guy just kind of fixes all the problems with all of them. He's got all the posability, because none of these guys have posable heads or anything. He's got the ankle rocking, tilting, all that stuff. And he's just a much more fun character to play with. Plus, he comes with his own blaster, so lots of fun. Gets the fire blast effect. So he is an improvement on an already good design. So now, do I think that this guy's worth getting? If you have one of the Shockwave toys, it's not quite so urgent because they are good toys. If you had like Warrior Class Optimus Prime, I would tell you in a heartbeat, get the Deluxe. But in this case, they're all pretty good. They all have a fair amount of posability, good detail. They're fun. But if you are looking for the best version of Shockwave, this is it in every way. And of course, if you want to do the Build-A-Figure, he's the only way you're going to do that, so you may have to anyway. He is probably, out of the 4 Deluxes we have, he probably ties with Bumblebee as far as how I feel, who's most deserving of the Deluxe price point. Optimus is okay. Megatron, I think, is honestly just trash. So he's kind of in a weird position where he's one of the better Deluxes, but he's also less of an improvement over the old toys, because the old toys of Shockwave are always so consistently good. So really, it's up to you. It's all about your collecting priorities. But I will say that if you drop the 20 on this Shockwave, you're really not going to be disappointed. He's a lot of fun. Of course, that is just my take on this toy. What I really want to know is what you think of this new Shockwave. Do you think he's worth all the hype? Would you say he is, a $20 toy, or would you like to see, more from him? Any and all opinions are valid, and I can't wait to hear them in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave it a like. Let YouTube know that you are a fan of these videos. If you want to see more reviews or any of my other content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at a very, very fun Shockwave toy. And with all that said, I will see you next time.